Greetings and welcome back to my gaming library top 10 RTSs for number 3, Age of Empires 2. Well, I played this a lot when I was a kid. And it's a really good strategy game, and that's why it's number 3. It has a nice big campaign mode here. Go into it. It got a tutorial campaign, and then it has 4 more campaigns spanning different factions with quite different playstyles. And with the expansion, you get 3 more campaigns, and then you get Battles of the Conquerors here, which is individual battles taking place during historical settings. So quite a nice bit of content. It also have a map editor where you can make your own scenarios, and pretty standard in that way. And of course, got quite a few factions here to play as. And while the factions here, as you can see, they have quite similar tech trees, although you will see things are crossed out for different factions, they actually do play quite differently when you come down to it, because they have a few different abilities. Like you can see here, the Britons get far better foot archers than some other factions, right? And so if you're playing them, you probably want to focus on archers. Where if you play as the Franks, you will try to use knights here. So there is quite a few different things to keep in mind which faction you pick. And basically you just need to pick the one that suits your playstyle. And if you can't actually choose that, when playing skirmish you can just choose all tech, would mean you, well, unlock the entire tech tree but don't get the special abilities. You still get the special units of a faction. I also like how there's a few different building looks for the factions when you build them. So the Aztec will have a different looking building than the Britons, for example. The Britons will look more or less like the Franks. They will have the same buildings, so they have a few different areas depending on where in the world the different factions belong. And let's just go into the game here. I'm just gonna pick random with all techs. Start here to quickly build something. And when you launch a game, it will play the faction music, or if you have neutral, it will play that. Here you can see quite a few different maps also. You can also choose real world maps, so you can, for example, be on the British Isle, as you can see here. We have a Korean faction, so an Asian faction. Buildings will look different. Let's see if we can find the 2 others. I can see we have we have what Morse and Montezuma is an Aztec factions around somewhere. So see if we can find them. Just build quickly a few buildings here. I don't know why I started building that actually. And of course they have 4 different resources you will have to manage. Just create a different variation in what you wanna collect, depending on how fast you wanna collect them. You don't really wanna collect stone until you reach at least the castle age. You will need it, but in the beginning you don't really wanna collect that much stone. You wanna focus on wood and food. There's plenty of ways to get food. It's quite interesting little. Also, it do have a Star Wars game set in the same engine, which is also quite interesting. And it has unique models for each of the factions. Here, if you get a scout cavalry with any of the factions, they all will look like that. But in the Galactic Battleground, it's called, they look a bit different. Although I don't like it as much as this. I think this is definitely one of the better RTSs out there. It has a nice gameplay feel, and also quite a few strategies you can use depending on which factions you are using. And here we can see another town center as in comparison to this one, so you can see how the buildings look a bit different, houses, everything except units look a bit different. And of course villagers are not entirely defenseless, as they can retreat in here. And that's basically what I have to say about this game. Definitely like the historical setting, the through the ages kind of thing here, only it's confined to Dark Age to Imperial Age, so it's basically medieval, all of it, but you still have a nice bit of advancement. Also the campaigns are quite nice and does introduce some historical characters if you're a bit interested in those. Also very nice to play like that, although there's a few interesting things. If you have the expansion installed, you get access to these in some of the campaigns that where you wouldn't have access to powerful siege weapons since you can't get the trebuchet, but you have these, so it becomes a lot easier to do, and this is especially in Jeanne d'Arc's campaign. But that's basically all I have to say about number 3. So next time it will be the second game, closing in on the big one, the best RTS in my opinion. Well, you will have to wait for 2 more videos. Until the next time, farewell.